You're watching a Highwire Media podcast.
Welcome to the Big D Breakdown Show. As always, I'm your host, Larry Leese. Today, we're diving into all the latest headlines from around the Dallas Cowboys. Before we do that, give us your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of the Cowboys heading into this upcoming season. And we're only just a month away from preseason. And with that, we're going to dive into our first topic. Terry Bradshaw has exposed Jerry Jones' deepest secret about the Cowboys, Dak Prescott. The Super Bowl winning quarterback might have just let the cat out of the bag. It became clear last season that the Dallas Cowboys needed to improve their weapons on offense. Thanks to the addition of George Pickens to pair next to CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott is due to have a bounce-back season. Coming off a down year for his standards, Prescott has been subjected to some familiar disrespect over the course of the offseason. Whether it be quarterback rankings, quarterbacks on the hot seat, Prescott has taken his fair share of slings and arrows. You can add NFL legend and Fox analyst Terry Bradshaw to that list, though it might be more of a shot at Jerry Jones than Prescott. On a recent podcast appearance, Bradshaw asserted that the Cowboys did not want to give Prescott his 4-year, $240 million deal, saying, quote, "I do know Jerry Jones made a mistake in signing Dak Prescott. I feel that was a big mistake. I know for a fact they did not want to pay Prescott." Prescott's extension is a polarizing topic across the board, even among Cowboy fans. But that is a pretty serious accusation from Bradshaw. The former Super Bowl winning quarterback is either exposing the cold hard truth, or he's just plain wrong. In fact, Jones expressed last season how he overpays for anything that ends up becoming special. This is an attempt for Bradshaw to expose what he thinks is happening behind closed doors. But it is admittedly too hard to buy. For starters, there is nothing Jerry Jones loves more than being relevant. While moving on from Prescott would create a year's worth of headlines, it would send the Cowboys straight back to irrelevancy in the NFL landscape. When Dak is healthy, Dallas is competing for a playoff berth. Sure, Prescott is only 2-5 in the playoffs. The slander is never going to end until he levels up in January and brings the Cowboys to at least the NFC Championship game. However, we are also talking about top 10 quarterback. Jones would have raked over the coals if he let Prescott reach free agency and ultimately sign elsewhere. Whether or not Bradshaw's comments hold any merit probably won't come to light until after Prescott's playing days are over. But it does make us think twice about Jones' insistence on waiting to extend players until the last possible minute. So, before we move on, let me know your thoughts. Do you think we should have kept Prescott or let him go? And with that, let's move right on to our next topic. NFL evaluators just disrespected Micah Parsons in the most predictable way imaginable. And I can't believe the NFL is still doing this. From the moment Micah Parsons stepped onto the field in the NFL, he's been one of the league's best defenders. In his first season in the league, Parsons moved to a new position that he had never played before, defensive end, and was a first-team All-Pro selection. Not only did he win Defensive Rookie of the Year, but he finished second in the Defensive Player of the Year award. That's how dominant he's been from day one. And yet, he is still somehow underrated. Just a week ago, Colin Cowherd called him a boom or bust player and named several other pass rushers he would take over Parsons, including Jared Verse. But it's only clickbait radio hosts who underrated Parsons. On Wednesday, we learned just how much the league continues to disrespect the 4-time Pro Bowl pass rusher. From the moment Micah Parsons stepped onto the field in the NFL, he's been one of the league's best defenders. In his first season in the league, Jeremy Fowler of ESPN polled over 70 NFL executives, decision makers, coaches, and scouts and asked them to rank the top 10 pass rushers in the NFL. Parsons finished number 3 on the list, behind Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. One NFL decision maker ranked him as the number 6 pass rusher. Here's what Fowler had to say about Parsons and why he believes the Cowboys star is closer to number 1 than number 3. Quote, his 126 pressures and 31% pass rush win rate since 2023 lead the NFL. He has done this despite facing a 31.5% double team rate in 2024, highest among edge rushers on this list. He generated a league-high 19.1% pressure rate last season and led the Cowboys with a 24.2% share, the 8th highest in the NFL. His pass rush win rate of 25.3% ranks 2nd overall. Fowler also pointed out that Parsons is just the 2nd player in NFL history to record at least 12 sacks in each of his first 4 seasons in the league. The other? None other than Reggie White. And it's worth mentioning that Parsons missed 4 games last season with a high ankle injury and still managed to record 12 sacks with 23 quarterback hits. So what's keeping Parsons from being number 1 or number 2 on the list? Ironically, it's the sack totals. Too many old school coaches and general managers rely on sack totals to determine the quality of a player. But we know that pass rush win rate and pressures are a much better indicator of success and predicting future success than sacks. But as those stats become more mainstream, it'll only help players like Parsons who impact far more plays than other names on the list. And let's just be honest, there is also a Cowboys bias when it comes to ranking these players. The advanced numbers from Parsons over the last 4 seasons are significantly better than TJ Watt, but for whatever reason, Cowboy defenders don't get the same amount of respect nationally. Don't believe me? Then explain how the Cowboys have never had a Defensive Player of the Year winner since 1977. Or how does someone like DaRon Bland, who set the record for pick sixes in the NFL season, receive just 1 total vote for Defensive Player of the Year? Or how about Trayvon Diggs in 2021 when he led the NFL in interceptions and return touchdowns and didn't receive a single vote? What about DeMarcus Ware in 2008? He led the league in sacks with 20, but was beaten out by James Harrison, who had 4 fewer sacks. How does it make sense that arguably the best defensive player of the 2000s finished inside the top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year voting just once? I think you get what's going on here. You can make a strong case that Parsons is the best defensive player in the league. But if you want to put Myles Garrett ahead of him, no one will fight that too much. But putting TJ Watt ahead of him, especially at this stage of their careers, is downright disrespectful. Look for Parsons to remind everyone this season why he and Garrett are on a different tier than the rest of the pass rushers in the NFL. On to our next topic. Cowboys have been named a perfect landing spot for a surprising free agent. And honestly, it's genius. Seriously, how has Dallas not made this move yet? In what has to be considered one of their busiest offseasons in recent memory, the Dallas Cowboys have filled plenty of their biggest holes on both sides of the ball over the past few months. That said, however, one need Jerry Jones and company haven't really addressed is replacing nickel cornerback Jordan Lewis, who left America's team after 8 years to sign a 3-year, $30 million deal with the Jaguars, pretty much the moment free agency began back in March. However, despite training camp being mere weeks away, the Cowboys still have an option at their disposal in this regard. One Bleacher Report's Matt Holder believes he would be a phenomenal fit in Big D, that being veteran Mike Hilton, whom he called one of the most surprising players still available. Saying, quote, adding Hilton could keep DaRon Bland on the boundary while allowing the Cowboys to be patient with Trayvon Diggs and rookie Siobhan Ravel Jr. as both recover from torn ACLs. That's a pretty spot-on assessment, and this is undoubtedly a move the Cowboys should make, especially seeing as how Hilton is extremely affordable and would assist the Dallas defense in fixing arguably its biggest problem from a season ago. Over the course of his 8-year career with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cincinnati Bengals, Hilton has never had the number to be considered a superstar, but has been consistent and reliable presence to a defensive unit. Yes, he can be a little inconsistent at times in pass coverage, but still has 13 interceptions and 56 passes defended to his name. But he's long had a reputation for being one of the best at his position against the run, and the fact that his 91.7 run defense grade last season ranked first among all NFL cornerbacks is really all the proof you need in that regard. Dallas is one of the worst teams against the run in 2024, allowing the 4th most yards per game on the ground at 137.1. So the veteran would obviously help Matt Eberflus's unit in that department. Throw in the fact that Hilton has recorded 12 tackles for loss in each of the last 2 seasons, and the argument only gets stronger. As Holder points out, one thing that could be scaring teams off is Hilton's age, as he turned 31 back on March 9th. The easy way to counter that is to just sign him to a 1-year deal and see what happens. And it's not as if it would take all that much money, especially given where we are on the calendar. During his 4-year run with the Bengals, Hilton was averaging $6 million per season. Whether he's worth that right now is debatable, but even if the Cowboys signed him to a 1-year deal for that figure, it's something they can afford as they currently have more than $32 million in available cap space. Let me know your thoughts on what they should do. And with that, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Fanatics. Cowboys Nation, let me ask you something really quick. Is there anything better than waking up on a Sunday, throwing on your lucky Cowboys jersey, and knowing it's game day? Whether you're tailgating outside AT&T Stadium or watching from your favorite chair with a cold one in hand, repping the silver and blue is a lifestyle. And there's one place that gets it just as much as you do, Fanatics. If you bleed Cowboys blue like we do around here, then Fanatics is your go-to destination for everything Dallas Cowboys. We're not talking about some bargain bin knockoff gear. This is officially licensed, player-authentic, and fan-approved merch, straight from the league to your closet. Let's say you're in the market for that fresh Micah Parsons Color Rush jersey, the one that practically sold out after his last strip sack highlight. Fanatics has it. Want that throwback Troy Aikman or Emmitt Smith jersey to flex some old school pride? They got those too. Looking to be the first to rock the brand new CeeDee Lamb alternate? Already available in every size. You name it, Fanatics has it. Men's, women's, kids, even newborns can get in on the action. And here's something I personally love. Fanatics Fan Cash. Every time you shop, you earn rewards you can use later. It's like turning touchdowns into store credit. Plus, if your favorite player gets traded or changed numbers, Fanatics has their jersey protection guaranteed. You're covered. You also get fast shipping, reliable customer service, and peace of mind, knowing that you're getting real gear, the same stuff players wear on the sidelines and during post-game interviews. This isn't your cousin's shady flea market merch. This is the real deal. And don't sleep on the accessories. Tailgating tents, Cowboy-themed coolers, car decals, collectibles, signed helmets, even Cowboy Crocs, if that's your thing. Hey, I don't judge. Just don't wear them to a playoff watch party. Bottom line, if you love the Cowboys, if your heart skips a beat when you hear, "How about them Cowboys?" then you need to check out Fanatics. So do yourself a favor, use the link in the description, load up your cart, and gear up like a true fan. Fanatics, officially licensed, officially Cowboys, and officially you. And now on to our next topic. Cowboys can't escape criticism as PFF torches their secondary. Life moves fast in the league. Life comes at you fast. One moment you're the class of the NFC East with a franchise quarterback, a group of Pro Bowl caliber playmakers, and a secondary full of young up-and-coming stars. Things look great for the next half-decade or more. Netflix does a documentary on your team's owner. Then, in an instant, it all disappears. Jaden Daniels shows up for one single season, and everything falls apart. The Eagles win the Super Bowl, and then, just to add insult to injury, the worst part arrives. PFF gives you an unfavorable offseason ranking. Nothing stinks quite like a disapproving offseason rankings list. That's exactly where the Cowboys have found themselves heading into 2025, playing against two of the best teams in football 4 times a year with the help of the second worst secondary in football. PFF didn't mince words when describing the dramatic fall of a secondary that looked like one of the NFL's best not too long ago. Saying, quote, "The Cowboys secondary looked like a strength just 2 years ago, but injuries, coaching changes, and key departures have depleted the unit's depth. Cornerback Daron Bland followed his record-setting 2023 season with a difficult 2024 campaign after returning from injury. Trayvon Diggs has been unable to replicate his 11-interception season from 2021, totaling just 8 picks since while missing significant time due to injuries. While there is still talent in this group, the prime years of those players may already be behind them unless an infusion of youth provides a spark. The prime years of these players may already be behind them is a very dramatic way to describe two corners who are respectively 25 and 26 years old. Bland even finished as PFF's 33rd best corner last year. So if that's a difficult campaign, then I think the Cowboys are going to be fine. Sure, cornerback is a big question right now given the Diggs injury, but what about safety? Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson are getting up there in age, but they are a serviceable tandem, and Dallas had a couple of up-and-coming players who could succeed them as soon as next year. Plus, everyone knows the vibes under Brian Schottenheimer are totally different and way better now, based solely on that one video of him drinking a cocktail on a golf course. Interesting that PFF conveniently forgot to mention that. And now on to our next topic. The Cowboy fans have been hit with a brutal reality check about the Dallas's offensive line. There's reason for optimism, but if the Dallas Cowboys are going to make it back to the postseason, they will need their offensive line to play at a high level. That was not the case in 2024, as they ushered in two new starters, Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe, and Zach Martin missed a significant chunk of time with an injury. The Cowboys have made some pretty heavy investments in the unit, including 3 first-round picks over the last 4 drafts. They've also signed Terrence Steele to a long-term extension and used another high third-round pick on Beebe. But where does the unit stack up across the league going into the upcoming season? Lower than you might think. Sultan Boudet of PFF ranked all 32 offensive lines heading into the upcoming season, and the Cowboys finished at number 23. Quote, considered a team strength not long ago, the Cowboys' offensive line is full of question marks. Left tackle Tyler Guyton's rookie season yielded just a 49.4 PFF overall grade, which ranked 73rd at the position. In addition to Guyton, Dallas will play 2 other starters who are either early in their careers, center Cooper Beebe and rookie first-round pick Tyler Booker, who is expected to replace Zach Martin. The Cowboys are hopeful that with a young offensive line, they'll continue to develop at a rapid pace and improve as the year progresses. They've also hired one of the league's best offensive line coaches, Clayton Adams, to be their offensive coordinator, and Connor Riley from Kansas State to coach the line. Those 2 hires should help, but there's no doubt that some major questions surround the unit going into the season. It does help that Tyler Smith is already an all-pro caliber player, and his versatility could come in handy. Plus, Beebe was significantly better in the second half of last season and should be even better this season, now that he has a full year at center under his belt. There are a lot of reasons to be optimistic about this group moving forward, especially considering how young and talented it is. They've poured too many resources into the offensive line for the unit to be even average. But the fact that so many players are unproven could signal that there will be some major bumps on the way. One thing is clear though, if the group finishes the year as a 23rd ranked offensive line in this league, you can bet that they won't be a playoff contender in 2025. They'll need this group to play much better than they have if they want to get back into the postseason in the NFC. Let me know what you think of the current Cowboys offensive line. And with that, now of course we have to discuss Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott recently commented on his health and George Pickens, and it should be firing up Cowboy fans. If this doesn't fire up Cowboys Nation, I'm not sure what will. It's no secret that Dak Prescott had a disappointing 2024 season with the Dallas Cowboys, coming off a 2023 campaign in which he finished second in the NFL MVP voting after completing a career-best 69.5% of his passes for more than 4,500 yards with a league-high 36 touchdowns against just 9 interceptions. The Mississippi State alum simply didn't look like the same quarterback coming out of the gates last year. In 8 appearances for America's team, Prescott connected on just 64.7% of his throws, his lowest mark since 2017, and tossed 8 interceptions, obviously just one shy of his 17-game total the season before. He lost the same number of games, going 3-5 in his 8 starts. And in the 8th start, of course, Dak suffered a hamstring injury in a loss to the Atlanta Falcons. One that ultimately required surgery and ended his season, which in turn ended any chance of the Cowboys making a 4th consecutive trip to the postseason and may have cost Mike McCarthy his job. But Prescott's problems, at least on the injury front, seem to be a thing of the past, as the 3-time Pro Bowler offered up some positive news on Tuesday, saying, quote, I'm healthy as I'll be. I'll be a full go for camp. I'm healthy. I think soon here I'll probably get an official sign-off from Doc, but I'm healthy. And if that's not enough to get Cowboy fans fired up, he also made some comments about newly acquired wideout George Pickens that should do the trick. Saying, quote, that knowledge, that involvement, it shows you a guy that loves football. And that, to me, delegates a lot of the things you heard in the past about him. Great dude, loves his teammates, and is excited as hell for this season. I know he is, and I know he's happy to be in a fresh new spot and excited for what he's going to do for us. Go turn on that guy's tapes. He's getting separation. He's got separation even when he's not getting the ball at times. And when he doesn't have separation, he's still making the catches. It's not going to be hard. Cowboys training camp officially kicks off in Oxnard, California on July 20th, with the first open practice set for July 22nd. And with that wraps up our show for today. As always, give us a thumbs up if you like our video, hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell notification button to be notified of future videos, and if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/thebigd, or scan the QR code that's right there. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you next time.